Alright, when we left off last time, we had created a pop-up statement, and then we had copy and pasted it into another notepad file and created a human algorithm out of it. It's only 5 steps here, and now it's time to move these 5 steps into 5 different steps on our flowchart. So in order to do that, we have to click the arrow between beginning and end. And since number 1 has an equal sign, it is an assignment. And then we configure it. It'll be configured the same as this number 1 up here. And that is, I have a place in memory called rate, and I want to assign to that the number 5. Alright, well that finishes the first one. Number 2 is an input. So again, I click and then I use input. Input has 2 parts to it. The first part is where we're going to store the information, and since we use num dogs, we'll use it again, num, and then we'll use the camel methodology and have a capital D. And down the prompt, we have to ask it a question, and that question has to go in quotes. Say, how many dogs? Okay, we have to make sure that it starts and ends with a quote at all times. So if that question mark was outside, it would be wrong. Alright, we're going to go ahead now and do number 3. That is another input. Okay, again, we do our third one here and use the more. Okay, so I'm going to call this one num hours. And I'm just going to simply down here ask the question, how many hours? Question mark. Close the quote. Okay, and then I'm going to do this, and since number 4 has an equal sign in it, that means it's an assignment. Okay, and this one is final charges, and again I'm going to use final and then capital C for charges. Okay, and now I'm going to have to do the right side, and the important thing to remember is that the right side always comes from places in memory we've already declared. So we want to take our time and say, okay, well, num dogs has to be the same as this num dogs. So one thing I can do is, well, I have to type it, so num capital D-O-G-S times, and the next one is num hours. And that's NUMHRS, and I'm going to multiply that by the rate that we have right here. Alright, so that should work. Okay, our final one is output, so we'll use an output symbol. Okay, on this one, we're going to say that the final charges are, and they're going to put a space and then close that quotation. Okay, we want to join it, and the join symbol is a plus sign with a place in memory that has the final charge, and of course that's just down here, so it's final and then charges, final charges. Okay, so we have a text string here joined by what's ever in a place in memory. If we wanted to, we could actually put a $sign here, make it look pretty. Alright, so now the only way we know if this is going to work is simply by coming up here to the run button and pressing it. Okay, if I have 10 dogs and I walked them for 10 hours, then $500. So it's 10 times 10 times 5. So 10 times 10 is 100. 5 times 100 is 500. And we know this is working. Alright, so now that that is done, now we simply move this over here. I open up my HTML kit, and